Three, two, one. 4 years ago, I made my first set of yearly goals in this diary. I didn't know what I was really doing, but I knew one thing for sure, that I didn't want the year to fly by without me making any real progress. And I didn't want to end up in the same place as the year before, right? So I set my goals. Fast forward today, I've done this 4 times, and over the span of 4 years, I've learned what works and what doesn't. Though I'm still experimenting and learning, I thought that why not share my process and my mistakes with you so that you can learn from it. This video is going to be part 1 of a 2-part goal setting series. Here, I'll be talking about the mistakes I've made and how you can avoid them. And in the next one, which is the part 2, I'll be talking about my system of setting and tracking goals. So with that said, let's dive into the video and talk about the mistakes. Mistake number 1 is don't be vague. When I first started setting my goals, I used to have goals like, oh, I want to earn money and be financially free. I want to learn new skills. I want to be good at communication. So those were my goals, and while that was a good start, I feel that I wish I was more specific. I wish I had dug in deep and asked me, for example, let's take the example of I want to learn a new skill. What is the skill actually? Like, why do you want to learn it? How will you learn it? In what time frame you will learn it? So you need to ask yourself all these questions. And I still fall into this trap of having such vague goals, and I always try to cross-check myself and be like, oh, this is vague. Try to be the most specific you can be. Try to add as much information as you can. Mistake number 2 is don't focus on the outputs. Now you're probably thinking, wait, what? Isn't that the point of setting goals, to have the end result, to have the outputs in the mind? Let me explain. Yes, they help us visualize, but it also creates a big gap between our present reality and the place we want to reach, and which fills us with a lot of doubts, a lot of imposter syndromes, and we questioning our capabilities, and we do not want to do that. So instead, along with your outputs, create another column of inputs. In this input column, write whatever you need to do in order to reach these goals. The thing is that we have control over our inputs and we do not have control over the outputs. So at the end of the day, having the input goals works. Mistake number 3 is don't set fixed goals. So when you set fixed goals or a specific number or specific target, and when you do not achieve it, there'll be an instant disappointment. So over these years, I've learned is that you need to have a range set for your goals. In this range, have a bare minimum number, a bare minimum goal, which you will be, obviously it will need efforts, but you will probably reach it. And on the other end, have a big, massive goal, which would require a lot of efforts, and achieving it will make you feel so proud of yourself. Setting this range, you'll always be winning. Though I do recommend to push forward for the big, massive goal, but if you do not somehow, and if you lie in the range, you'll still be winning. Mistake number 4, don't overestimate. There goes a saying, we overestimate our short-term goals and underestimate our long-term goals. And when we set our yearly goals, we try to stuff in as much things as possible because we want to make the most of this year, right? But don't do it. Be more aware of what you set. So here's the funny incident. You remember that I made a goal of learn skills, right? The next year, I set another goal where it said that I want to learn. So I was getting more specific, right? So I told myself that I learned 12 skills in 12 months. While a bit more specific for sure, what I did was I overburdened myself. Sure, it's impossible to learn 12 skills in 12 months. And even if I did, I wouldn't have, dug deeper into each skill, and it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. Mistake number 5 is don't level down your goals. This is probably the biggest lesson I've learned this year. Basically, I was at this place where I wasn't reaching my goal. And so I thought I'll lower down the goal. Again, I didn't reach it, so I again lowered it way more down. And so I did it again and again. After doing this, two things happened. Firstly, I lowered my goal so much that it became mediocre. And who likes mediocre goals? Secondly, I got demotivated by setting my goals so low. The thing is that when you set smaller goals, they do not excite you anymore. And why the hell would you want to work so much to reach such a small goal? So don't level them down. So what to do instead? I was at the same place and I came across this advice by Shan Puri. He said that if you encounter such problem, do one of these two things. Either change your goal completely or keep the same goals and do everything possible you can to achieve them. And it was a pretty good advice, I feel so. Mistake number 6 is don't set sequential goals. So I'm guilty of doing this way often, and what I do is I make goals like if I get X, I'll do Y, and if I have Y, I'll do Z. So I'm setting all these sequences, right? And what happens is that if I don't reach X, my Y and Z goal is completely gone. So I've realized that I need to make goals which are independent of each other, or try to make it more independent. The last and the final mistake is don't set your goals on January 1st. I still vividly remember this day in July 2019 where I was sitting on my bed feeling so frustrated because half of my year had already passed and basically I didn't set any goals for the year. So what I did next was plan the next half of my year in July. The thing I'm trying to say is that for sure you can set your goals whenever you want. It is way better than not even setting your yearly goals. But my point is that you need to be proactive. You need to set your goals before the year even starts. No, not January 1st, but maybe 2 weeks before, maybe a month before the year. So that's it from my side. In the next part, I'll be talking more about my process of setting yearly goals. Plus, I'll talk about some new frameworks I'll be using for 2025. That video is also filled with value, and if you want to check that out, do subscribe to my channel so that you get to know about the video first. Also, do tell me in the comments which points you agree or disagree with. I love to read them. And yeah, so that's it from my side. See you in the next video.